Hello there. It's late. It's 10:25. Oh, holy crap, I worked way too late today. Today I was doing T-slips and I was thinking about tax planning because that's a thing that I think about on a Saturday night, like everybody does, I'm sure. And I was thinking about how we talk a lot about tax planning. I talk a lot about it, and other finance professionals do too, like maybe your financial planner or a banker or somebody. So, what is it though? What is tax planning? Tax planning is it's making decisions to minimize your taxes, but in a way that's legal and in a way that doesn't trigger it's called GAR, General Anti-Avoidance Rule. Most people don't have to worry about the General Anti-Avoidance Rule, but if you do something specifically to lower your taxes, like you do a transaction or you create a scenario where it lowers your taxes significantly, and the only reason that you did that was for tax saving reasons, you can't do that. GAR is very complicated, certainly beyond the scope of this live, but important in tax planning. So what is tax planning from a more not reasonable, but like day-to-day tax perspective? It's the things like if you have a corporation and you decide to pay yourself a salary or dividends. So today, for example, I had a client who we had a discussion as to what was going to be better for them in their specific tax scenario. And so I did some calculations to see, okay, if we paid out in dividends the full amount of what this person took out of the company for 2019, this is the amount of tax that would be owing. If we decided we were going to do a bonus in December for that full amount, this is the amount of taxes that would have to be paid, and CPP and the penalties because we've missed the deadline for the payroll remittances for December. So just adding all that up and saying, okay, also corporate taxes are a part of this as well, because we want to try and minimize the tax bill as a whole. So on the one side, on the dividend side, he paid less in personal taxes, but he's going to pay a lot more in corporate taxes. On the payroll side, it was more in personal taxes, but zero in corporate taxes because everything had been paid out to him from the company. So the salary is deductible for tax purposes for the corporation, which means zero corporate taxes. But what ended up happening is that because of the penalties and because of the other income and the other pieces of his tax scenario, it ended up being that dividends was the way to go. But I didn't know that until I did all the math. I mean, I did guess, but I didn't know for sure. So that is what we call tax planning. That's what I call tax planning. Doing some math and running some scenarios and just figuring out what the best way to approach a tax situation is. It's all legal. It's playing the game. Tax planning is kind of like playing a game with the CRA. You have to follow their rules, and you have to follow their rules. That's the thing. But I think that's what's so interesting about it. You're given this set of rules, and then you get to apply those rules to every situation that you come up to. So in some cases, there's really nothing you can do. If you have a T4, like if you are employed by someone else and that's it, in terms of your taxes, you've got no RSPs, there's no medical expenses, you're not a student, you don't have investments, there's no rental, like I could go on and on. You only have employment income on your taxes, then that's kind of it. There's nothing we can really do about that. But if you have some other pieces like medical expenses, like you have a business, corporation, that there's some choice in the way that things are reported, then that's where some tax planning comes in. That's where we get to play the game with the CRA. They hand us a rule book and we say, cool, this is a scenario. Let's find out what the best solution is. And I find that very interesting. I love thinking through different ways to approach the same problem, just in general, but I love being given constraints and then having someone say, okay, great, what's the best solution to this problem? So that's what I did today. I did tax planning, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure there are others who enjoy this too. If you're someone who enjoys tax planning and you're watching this, please let me know so I know I'm not alone. If your tax situation, is it really, really straightforward, or do you have a few moving pieces, some levers that could be maybe pulled to maximize your return or just minimize the overall taxes that you're going to pay? I would love to chat with you about it. I am certainly not a in-depth tax expert, so if it's incredibly complicated, then that's not me. But I definitely enjoy taxes. So if you've got a few moving pieces and you want to chat with me about it, I'd love to talk to you. I've left my calendar link in the description, so you can book free 30 minutes with me, and we'll just talk about taxes. I look forward to it. I hope you do too. I'll see you tomorrow.